Hi everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing this yarn from Ganga Acrowools called the Pound of Happiness. This is no ordinary ball of yarn. This monster ball contains 454 grams of yarn. Just to give you a visual comparison, you can see an ordinary 100-gram ball of yarn placed next to it. When I ordered the yarn, it came in this nice plastic bag with plastic handles, and this is the kind of bag that you can reuse later to put your projects or your scrap yarn in. I've just taken off the yarn label because I've already used a bit of the yarn and it's kind of loose on the ball. So let me tell you a bit about the yarn specifications. It's 100% acrylic. Like I said, it's a pound of happiness, so the net weight is about 454 grams. And it says the MRP is rupees 450 on the ball. Now if you go to Amazon, you can see that the price is 450 and there's some extra delivery charges. I had brought it off Pradhan Embroidery Stores, their online store, which I will link in the description box below. And if you look at the care instructions, so whenever you buy a ball of yarn, it's useful to look at the information that's given on the ball band. Some of them might not really give you much of information, but this tells you that it's an acrylic fiber, so basically it's like plastic, so you cannot iron it, you cannot use any bleach on it, or you cannot use any they've written any solvent. I think they mean any detergent. If you are going to make a project out of it, it's better to dry it flat so that the stitches don't get pulled out of shape. And it is said that you can also reshape the fibers when they're wet. So that's a process called blocking, and you can wash it in lukewarm water up to 30 degrees Celsius. Now what I really love about this yarn is that it's another 4-weight medium yarn. So now this particular shade is my favorite. This is purple, so it's a nice dark purple, and I was making a blanket, the edges of which I was doing in this colored yarn. And to top it off, it's a huge monster ball. It makes me happy just to look at it, and it's a 4-weight yarn, so what more can you possibly ask for in a yarn, right? And if you look at the instructions regarding the needle and the hook sizes, it is asked to use a 5.5 millimeter number 5 knitting needles and 6.5 millimeter number 3 crochet hook size. Coming to the feel of the yarn, it's reasonably soft. It would be quite comfortable if you want to make scarves or wearables out of it, and it feels quite sturdy. So even if you would want to make projects like blankets out of this, I think it would hold up pretty well. And yes, there is a little bit of fluff, but I don't think there should be any major pilling once you wash the fabric. And like you can see, it's a nice thickness, and the plies are not too loose and neither are they too tight. So I guess that's a reason behind this medium softness to the yarn. I've also crocheted up this tiny swatch for you. So it's just a swatch of half double crochets, and as you can see, even if it's a solid yarn, that single bobble that I try to make a swatch out of so that we can see how the stitch definition comes. Stitch definition is not bad. The bobble is quite visible, and I have crocheted this out of 5 millimeter hook, which is not the recommended hook size. The recommended hook size is 6.5, but I think for a 4-weight yarn, 6.5 would be too large. Of course, it depends upon the tension that you usually crochet with, and of course the hook size, again, like it depends on what kind of drape you want. So you can see that I really held the yarn loosely because I was using a smaller hook, and there's not much of drape to this, right? So if you use a larger hook size, you're going to get more of a drape. So if you're planning to make something like a sweater that you really want to hang well on your body, maybe you'd like to use a larger hook size. But for a blanket and things like that, I think a 5 millimeter hook would do well enough.